So I need to have this background conversation with you about what's going on that you don't know that you don't know. Now, there are things that you know. Now, who's the oldest guy in here? Besides me. Don't point that out again, or you're in deep trouble. How old are you again? 59? Oh, he's so full of it. It's perfect. Yeah, you're 59, really?
No, I'm lying too.
Okay, thanks. But are you the oldest guy in here besides me?
I don't know.
Okay. Anyone older than 59? How old are you? Oh, you're cool. Okay. So you know a lot now? So the more you know, what are you finding out?
The more I know, I think I go back to the basics.
Okay. It's the wisdom comes from the more you know, the more you find out you don't know. And so there's a certain cycle that you go through of knowing, and it reveals what you don't know, and then you know what you don't know, and you keep on going in that cycle. I'm going to talk about things that you don't know that you don't know. You don't know that you don't know. You are blind to what I'm about to speak about. It's like, I didn't know that. No, you didn't know that because you're not looking for it. It's not in your view of the world of dentistry. What does that say on the board? Don't help it. What does that say on the board? So it says 259. What does that mean to you? Why not? Have you ever seen that number before? Okay. What's missing that it doesn't have any meaning? Let me repeat the question. What's missing that it doesn't have any meaning? You don't know? Exactly. Context is missing. Once you have a context, it gives meaning to that which you are observing and engaged with. Now it means something, yes? A good dinner? Hefty bottle of wine? It means you better get to the gym? Working too much? Is it a pretty good year? Context is decisive. And my assertion is that the context in dentistry has changed, which will give different meaning to that which you are engaged with. There's unprecedented social, economic, political, and technological changes that are occurring. How many of you are doing the same thing you did 10 years ago in your practice? I used to be a periodontist. I couldn't even fathom what that would be like today. It's ridiculous. I used to do perio. The periodontists never do perio anymore. Nothing's the same. And the interesting thing from my viewpoint, seeing what's going on in the dental industry, is more profound changes are going to occur and come faster than ever before. To make the required adjustments, we must understand the nature of change itself, its causes and effects, its dangers and possibilities. Today's change is not just more rapid, it's more complex, it's more turbulent, and it's more unpredictable. The very nature of change has changed, and we've reached what people have called a break point, and Washington Dental Service and other deltas are an expression of this breakpoint change. Breakpoint change abruptly and powerfully breaks the critical links that connect anyone or anything with the past. And by the way, this is a great book by Landon Jarman. But that which got you here, as I said in the beginning, probably won't get you there. When the context changes, when a breakpoint change occurs, everything changes. How many of you have a tube television? How many of you don't carry a cell phone? That happened pretty fast, yes? Did you have a cell phone 10 years ago? One of those big clunky things? The context of dental practice is changing as well. So delta is only one piece of evidence that this context is shifted. There's so many other elements that are changing, and you are not totally aware of the impact of these changes. These are just some of them. Where are we in mid-level providers in this state? Have we voted yes to mid-level providers? Not yet? I got called by a very good insurance company in the Midwest, and they were asking me about mid-level providers because they want to build a clinic using mid-level providers. How far away from the vote? Soon? Think will happen?
It's going to be reintroduced this year in Olympia with the foundation putting up to $5 million on a single issue, pushing mid-levels. There's a good chance to make it run through.
Yep. Very good chance. They're going to use access as in the plea. 60% of the kids don't have access to a dentist. We need mid-level providers, and it will be through. I couldn't practice in any other state but Washington State, and now what I can do is if I have 5 years experience as a specialist, I can go anywhere in the country. So the state licensing, and this includes Florida now, is no longer a valid interpretation of how dentistry is done. And in fact, people from foreign countries are starting to come and get licensed in dentistry here. That's changing. I'll talk about this in much greater detail, but what I'm noticing in a number of my clients are multi-site, multi-provider practitioners, particularly in ortho and pedo. That's expanding, and also in perio, by the way. So things are happening in many other areas of the country where people are joining together in larger groups to be able to compete in this new context. And I talked a little bit about itinerant specialists, but if we listen to Coyce and we listen to other people are good, and we listen to Provisor in terms of its mechanism of analyzing periodontal disease and caries, and given where the money is going from Procter & Gamble and Colgate, people are going to be managing more by risk than fixing the disease. Things are going to change in the elements of how we even diagnose and treatment plan. There's a tremendous rapid growth of the MSOs and DSOs, and I'll describe those in greater detail. I happen to be working with a really wonderful one up in the Northeast. Consolidations and acquisitions are happening, and there are new dental schools being formed as we speak, 2 in Florida, and these are for-profit dental schools that are being generated by osteopathic medical schools. They see a for-profit element. They don't have to go by federal or state law because they're private, and they've opened up new dental schools, 2 of them. $50,000 a year to go, and you don't have any clinical, you do all your clinical work by computer until your senior year. That's how they're doing it. And there's new third parties. I happen to be working with one of the newer third parties, and they are developing algorithms for the management of the claim so that it is even more elegant than it is today, and they are winning contracts galore. And then we'll talk about this again. You have major corporate competitors coming into your territory. Clear Choice is coming. Do you know about Clear Choice? Does anybody know about Clear Choice? Oh, you will. They are an implant corporation that generates various numbers of clinics in an area that have implant specialists and prosthodontists, and that's what they provide, and they blitz the market. And they're setting up shop as I speak now in Tacoma, Washington. They're coming to Bellevue. There's a lot of implants to be done. So these happen to be my clients, so I can speak about them generously. On the top is Jeremy Fry from Fry Orthodontics. He's got 4 offices now. He'll have 7 by the end of 2013. That's his dad, Robert, to the right, and that's his associate. And many of the orthodontists I'm working with now are expanding to multi-provider, multi-location practices because the same model can be used and replicated. Did anyone ever do Gerber's work, the E-Myth or any of that stuff? Have you ever read any of his work? Probably not. He says to think like a franchise. And that things can be replicatable and distributed, and the more efficient you become at it, the more widely distributed you become, the more effective it more falls to the bottom line. So the orthodontists that I'm working with are doing that. On the top is one of the pedo groups I'm working with, Edelberg Montalvam. They're in Long Island. They've got 3 locations. They've got 4 pedodontists, and they have 2 orthodontists, and they're looking at their 4th location. And on the bottom, which is the perio group that I'm going to work with next week, in nice, cool Phoenix. Should be 110 when I get there. This is AZ Perio. They have 4 offices going on their 5th. They have 5 periodontists, and they're all board certified. And it's a wonderful group to work with. They're doing fabulous work. And so multi-provider, multi-location, group practices, we are going to see an increase of this, particularly on the east side here, I would assume. That's going to happen. These are my previous clients, DentaQuest, which is an interesting group of third party. They're the first to roll up Deltas, and they also bought out Commonwealth and Doral, and now it is a large national dental insurance company, which means it's no longer state regulated. So things are breaking out in that particular area. And I work with Emeritus, and my current client is Scion, which is looking at making the whole system of claims payment easier for all parties involved. And they're doing a great job. This is what you're not seeing, and it may be here, maybe you're aware of it. There is something called an MSO, Managed Service Organization. Have you ever heard of that before? Yes? And there's a DSO, which is its sister group, which is a dental service organization. Okay. An MSO owns the assets of your practice, manages your practice, markets your practice, and what you have as a dental organization is you have the goodwill and patient charts. And you pay them a fee to manage your practice. There are several big ones out there in the country. There's one called Heartland, which I recommend you actually go on Google and start reading about this. And there's another one that's called American Dental Partners. The one that I work with is the one called Refresh, and they have 15 offices in western Pennsylvania and eastern Ohio, and their total gross to date is $25 million per year. Then they're looking to be at $50 million per year by the end of 2013. They're coming to your neighborhood. They're going to set up shop here. You are going to be competing with people like this.